Seahawks are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock. The Eagles are now on the clock.
I use a dub, I'ma win, I won't lose with
The
this.
Colts are now on the clock.
I'ma act a fool with this. I'ma act a fool with this.
The Packers are now on the clock.
Act a fool with this. I turn the knob, can't resist, I'm incredible. Yeah, came for the dollars, call it
The Jaguars are now on the clock.
Can I get the dash, can I catch me, bro? Ooh, can I get the dash, can I catch me, whoa? Your whole team is no competition. Boy, I did it by myself, it's a solo mission.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
I'm a fool, dog. Turn the whole field to a schoolyard. Bunch of students ain't eating round here. I'm the GOAT, little man, and I made it loud and clear. Put the gas on them like I'm with the Cavalier. Show no love, got the confidence, no fear. I use a dub, I'ma win, I won't lose with this. Yeah, I'ma act a fool with this. Yeah, I'ma act a fool.
The Giants are now on the clock.
I'ma act a fool with this. Okay.
The Patriots are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock. The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Vikings are now on the clock.
Stars born, I've been ready for this. Since like 9-5, I've been eager for this. Talent on the rise.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Trophy is the prize, ain't no gimmick.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Now what's left on them? Told you I'ma flex on them. I did it all subtle, ooh, and then I hit that exit on them. Gotta blame my faith, cause these eyes ain't got nothing on them. I secured the safe for the cradle, I ain't dropping nothing, ooh. Only winning is exception, ain't no truce. Ain't no dub, ain't no L on my crew. Only winning is exception on my crew. Yeah, ain't no dub, ain't no L. I use a dub, I'ma win, I won't lose with this. Yeah, I'ma act a fool with this. Yeah, I'ma act a fool with this. Yeah, I'ma act a fool with this. Okay. Yeah. When I hit that. When I hit that.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
Kick it and go, kick it and go.
The Chiefs are now on the clock. The Steelers are now on the clock.
Running it back, never cap, out of the draft.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Hit of the pack, walk for the sack.
The Giants are now on the clock.
Walk on my wall like I do.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Maybe the shoes, maybe the team, maybe the camp, maybe the crew. You need a win, who need a win, that's all we do. I've been a king and I've been about mine. Never could doubt mine. They running the route, I leave an outline when I hit
The Jaguars are now on the clock. Packers are now on the clock. The Colts are now on the clock.
You know what it be. Playing this here for the keeps. Had to make out with a feast. A family to feed. Third cold where the trophy should be.
The Dolphins are now on the clock.
Breed on with the game now. They're here with a lane now. My home second with a rain now. Legendary on the field. Kind of drip is a skill. It's the highest cruiser bill. Ain't nothing just the hill.
The Eagles are now on the clock. The Falcons are now on the clock. The Panthers are now on the clock.
Won't you get down with me, down with me, down with me? Oh, you down with me, down with me, down with me.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Down with me, down with me. Oh, you down with me, down with me. Hold on. I got a crowd wrapping around the whole town for me. They mama proud, got a thou in the balcony.
The Titans are now on the clock. The Buccaneers are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock.
I need a break. Won't you get down with me, down with me, down with me? Oh, you down with me, down with me, down with me. Won't you get down with me, down with me, down with me? Oh, you down with me, down with me. Hold on. Won't you get down with me, down with me, down with me?
The Rams are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Jets are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
Tell me who you talking to.
The Bears are now on the clock.
She asked me what's my life path. Told her 55 south to the cat. So many couches I cried. Shout out South Street and shout classic. I know you really wanna be my only one, but I didn't need somebody to hold on to the sucker up. I know you really wanna be my only one, but I didn't need somebody to.
The Texans are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Browns are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock. The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
I remember sleeping with my ribs touched.
The Broncos are now on the clock.
My ribs touched. Now I get it to go. I get it to go. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go.
Prime time over grind game, over time's up.
The Cowboys are now on the clock.
Either you got it, you don't. Lie to yourself if you won't. I put my team on my back.
The Buccaneers are now on the
be all
clock.
in my bag. Copy and paste with the swag. Bet you can't do it like me. All my weight
The
is on
Titans
repeat. Take
are
it
now
down
on
like
the
a
clock.
boss. Stand 10 toes on your feet. I can never take a loss. I ain't set up for defeat. 4 Giottos on the truck. I had a dream and it stuck.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
So I be hella low key.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
Loyalty runs deep. I keep my ear to the streets.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
I'm off the chain, I'm off the leash. But baby girl, I play for keeps. Told my brother lately, I've been scheming against all odds like Willie Beeman. I've been grinding lately, this my season. Lord knows I'm trying to find my reason. Lay it out on the line, ain't no looking back. Giving my all with no strings attached. Came from the bottom, rose through the cracks. Spotlight on you, but how you gon' act?
I remember sleeping with my ribs touched. I remember sleeping with my ribs touched. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go.
Ain't it crazy how them tables turn? You can fold or you can stand firm. I'm a real one, so I ain't concerned. I'm fully built for this life. I think I earned all my stripes. I don't believe all the hype. Get back on my feet and get right. Watch you work, watch him hate, watch him lurk. Can't relate, watch you skirt. Out the mud, out the dirt, above the waters, in the murks, at the gate, on site. Red breed, red tight, set the bar, take flight. Yeah, I've been grinding since a young and they told me my timing was coming. I've been hustling with no fun and forget all the fame, get the money. I'm out in LA where it's sunny. I've been eating since a young and since we ain't have food in our tummy. The life we was living ain't funny, but you cannot take nothing from me. Put that on my mama.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
Way better than I can tell you. The type of dreams that they sell you. That's why I learned from
The
my
Colts
failures.
are now on the
Through handouts
clock.
of the favors. Told my brother I'ma get this paper. Was left behind, I'll see it later. To keep it real,
Packers
you don't need
are
to
now
wait.
on the
Lay it
clock.
out on the line, ain't no looking back. Giving my all with no strings attached. Came from
The
bottom, walked through
Jaguars
cracks.
are now on the
Spotlight
clock.
you, but how you gon' act?
I remember sleeping with my ribs touched. I remember sleeping with my ribs touched. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
I remember sleeping with my
The
ribs
Giants are now on the
touched.
clock.
I remember sleeping with my ribs touched.
The Patriots are now on the clock.
Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
I remember sleeping with my ribs touched.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Now I get it to go. Now I get it to go.
Yo, who told us we ain't gonna win, man? Really? He's a bozo. Bozo. Really? Yeah, we did a lot for the wins. Came in and drop on the 10. Now we on top once again.
The Vikings are now on the clock.
I had to tighten the plan. I got it right in the end. Now we on top once again. I don't want it if it ain't love. If it ain't, get it away from me. Who you gon' jack if it ain't us? LABB to the bakery. Some mad that I came up. I know my granny gon' pray for me. It was just us in the vacancy.
The Chargers
We
are
had to
now
get
on
it
the
from
clock.
A to B. Wheels never felt like this. 2 seats in the hills.
The
how
Chargers
real righteous.
are now
New
on the
seats for
clock.
Mills, but the deal priceless. New keys can't kill what's still private. I might just double it up. Did it? Never enough. I'm with it. 5, 2, 3 on the business. Whole team got wins and the wheels still spinning. I told them. What I told them. We did a lot for the wins. Came in and drop on the 10. Now we on top once again. Yeah. Hey, I had to tighten the plan. I got it right in the end. Now we on top. Got a spot and it's locked to the click all in. I got ops, if he drop, I just hit my dance. I was popped, they just watched, had to take my wins. They wouldn't let me in. I've been on 10 cents. Who really holding it down? I've been holding it down and I go it again and again.
The Vikings
Who was the
are
dummy
now
that
on the
got
clock.
the coldest around, but he folding again and again. I'm in the what? I'm in the day. I'm doing 30 on 30 and up. You in the what? You in the way. Either you rolling or rolling the dust. You with us or what? Keep it running. We did a lot for the wins. Came in and drop on the 10. Now we on top once again. Yeah. I had to tighten the plan. I got it right in the end. Now we on top.
The Chiefs
once
are
again.
now on the clock.
We did a lot for the wins. Came in a drop on the 10.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
Yeah. Hey. I had to tighten the plan. I got it right in the end. Now we on 10, 10, 10.
The Patriots are now on the clock. The Giants are now on the clock. The 49ers are now on the clock. The Jaguars are now on the clock.
I feel the way my heart all on my sleeve. That's why I had to put my wrist on freeze. Coming for the win, can't take another L. Designer on me, this that new Chanel. Did that splash, did that drill. Yeah, champion, yeah, we
The Packers are now on the clock.
6 rings with a pinky ring. Everybody used to pick at me, now I'm the one that they picking. Snakes out, they hit scene, but I can't hear it when the crowd screams. Still balling like
The Colts are now on the clock.
Gotta lose once to be a true winner. Only want the hunters with the blues.
The Eagles are now on the clock.
I've been through that water like Olympic swimmers. Only bread and butter, what we ate for dinner. So I had to dream it till the dream is bigger. Only want the gold, we don't need the silver. Gotta be number one, number two, never count.
The Panthers are now on the clock.
Competition, now point them out. Making my babies proud, wanna cop my mama a house. Coming straight out the south, gotta know juice to end the drought. Yeah. I buy like 23. Won't fall again, and I put that on me.
The Bengals are now on the clock.
That's why I had to put my wrist on freeze. Come for the win, can't take another L. Designer on me, this that new Chanel. Did that splash, did that drill. Yeah, champion, yeah, we here. Reaching my goals, I do not feel ashamed. I'm a
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
I don't do it for fame, it's the love.
The Titans are now on the clock.
Like I'm trained. I'm prepared for the rain, they amazed. I ain't break from the sticks and stones they threw. Anything that you can do, I can do it better than you. No matter what I do, achieve, still got something to
The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock.
Used to have bubble guts competition, now point them out. Making my babies proud, wanna cop my mama a
The
house.
Ravens are now on the clock.
Gotta know juice to end the drought. Yeah. I buy like 23. Won't fall again.
The Bills are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock.
Come for the win, can't take another L. Designer on me, this that new Chanel.
The Texans are.
Champion, yeah, we here.
The Browns are now on the clock. The Texans are now on the clock. The Bears are now on the clock. The Saints are now on the clock. The Bills are now on the clock.
Pick it up, watch me pick it up. In my hands, on my knees, I've been down and pick it up. Kylie Jenner lips, J-Lo in the hips. Y'all sitting on the bleachers on the first draft pick. Playing with your feelings, can't have me. Get left
The
one,
Jets
yeah,
are now on the clock.
Blah, 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 'cause I already won. This is B, foreign language, we ain't coming from above. Drippy, sipping like Capri Sun. Take your man, get bored, send him back where he's from. Throw it in rotation.
The Ravens are now on the clock. The Cardinals are now on the clock. The Raiders are now on the clock. The Cowboys are now on the clock. The Titans are now on the clock.
Let me explain what I did. Can I kick it? Hold on. Yeah, I got some rings and a range. Can I kick it? Yeah. Don't ask me a thing. How I got it.
The Seahawks are now on the clock.
Had a blast. Can I kick it? Even with a sprain. Can I kick it? Just the flex, I went and bought a chain. Can I kick it? Things ain't been the same. Things have changed. Can I kick it? People acting different, so I asked. Can I?
Hey, could count on my paw. Hey, look at my dogs. It was way back then, could claim what you saw, but you weren't with us. The higher the climb, the harder the fall, but how did you get up? I done got rich and went broke, then
The
got rich.
Panthers are now on the clock.
I done been ballin' this pickup. Remember me being so bummy and being so hungry, I had to eat gristle. Ay, how did the lady go miss? Ay, how she with magic, she mix. Met her at one of the functions, we called her the rhythm. She
The Eagles are now on the clock.
And that's how we kicked it.
Let me explain what I did. Can I kick it? Hold on. Yeah, I got
The
some
Colts
rings
are
and
now
a
on the
ring.
clock.
Can I kick it? Yeah. Don't ask me a thing. How I got her, how I did it. Yeah. Spend the whole half, had a blast. Can I kick it? Even with a sprain. Can I kick it? Just
The
flex, I
Packers
went
are
and
now
bought
on
a
the clock.
chain. Can I kick it? Things ain't been the same. Things have changed. Can I kick it? People acting different, so I asked. Can I? Before I went live, they ain't know what I was. Ain't no one alive that could do what I does. Wait. Need a light here just to catch my buzz. Need Sprite here just to catch my cup. Now they don't really talk about us. Now they don't really talk about love. Honestly, they ain't never seen too much. What's love to a guy with a bag? What's heart to a guy with some cash? What's pain to a guy that's mad? Said. What's broke to a guy with a mask? What's both to a guy with a plan? I just wanna kick it, that's all I ask. Like, let me
The
explain
Jaguars
what I
are now on the
did.
clock.
Can I kick it? Hold on. Yeah, I got some rings and a range. Can I kick it? Yeah. Don't ask me a thing.
The 49ers are now on the clock.
Yeah. Spend the whole half, had a blast. Can I kick it? Even with a sprain. Can I kick it? Just the flex, I went and bought a chain. Can I kick it? Things ain't been the same. Things have changed. Can I kick it? People acting different, so I asked. Can I?
The Giants are now on the clock. The Patriots are now on the clock.
Say I done powered up, level at 10,000 and climbing. No, I've been bad it to them looking back from around me. My what it is, really I just came in. Gotta see this more gonna be a boy. Thank the good Lord I'm getting.
The Steelers are now on the clock.
With the sauce, I'm never holding back. I'm going.
The Chiefs are now on the clock.
Through the casket, no turning tragedy. The tragedy for you knew what happened. Ain't no explanation. This is second nature.
The Vikings are now on the clock. The Chargers are now on the clock.
Lion, tigers, meteors inside my mind. Kamikaze, spaceship power, baby, sail me toward the sky. Here I come, a freaky side. Oh no, don't you close your eyes. I'ma give you something to cry about. I'ma teach you how to fly without fear, doubt.
The Chargers are now on the clock.
Animal instinct, you fools hurt. Jesus will.
on the play. Yeah, yeah. Flag on the play. Hold up. That's a flag on the play. Let's go. Touchdown, I just scored a whole bucket. I just dropped the bag on the tag, ain't nothing. Make 'em throw a flag when I pass, come through stunning. Call me tired, girl, and hit the hole, then I ran it. Get money, you ain't tryna get that second flag on the play. Hating from the sideline, a flag on the play. Like Julio with them Falcons, I just made a play. In the red zone, going strong, watch me shake and bake. Let's go. I just took off with that rock, just like Tyreek Hill. I just count 100 racks, that's a whole field. He don't want no championship, get him out of here. I just got a set, like I run up in the backfield. I just got a set, like I ran up on a quarterback. Shake and bake, make a play just like a quarterback. We ain't worrying about no formers, we ain't staying there. Running off the block, yeah, I'm something like a linebacker. I got juice like a Fanta, how you like it? How you like it? I'm on purple, I'm on yellow, like a Viking. Like a Viking. All these plays that I'm catching, I done gone crazy. I do my thing, 6 range, just like Tom Brady. Touchdown, I just scored a whole bucket. I just dropped the bag on the tag, ain't nothing. Make 'em throw a flag when I pass, come through stunning. Call me tired, girl, and hit the hole, then I ran it. Get money, you ain't tryna get that second flag on the play. Hating from the sideline, a flag on the play. Like Julio with them Falcons, I just made a play. In the red zone, going strong, watch me shake and bake. Let's go. I'm in the field like a Panther, I done up the standards. Like Michael Vick in Atlanta when it's time to scramble. Neck full of water, call me Black Bridgewater. Lamar Jackson, how I throw them Ravens across the border. Hold up. You know I'm a touchdown with the sack. Run up the whole like a running back on the play. Intercept the pack like a safety, you boys ain't shake the play. That's a flag on the play. Let's go. Touchdown, I just scored a whole